Good morning, everybody from sunny northern Illinois. Just joking. As you can see, we're still in the middle of winter, but with no snow, which means that it's cold and rainy. Yahoo! And cloudy and overcast and all of that neat jazz. So I'll make sure I take my vitamin D today. Hi, Evie. Great to see you. So today's topic, I was coming up with today's topic, which was how to have, hi, Pam. Good to see you, too. How to unload your baggage. And Raquel's here. Neat. Without having a mental breakdown. And this topic started, and Kathy's here, too. Hi, Kathy. This topic started because I was hanging out with my psychologist yesterday. I see one every week, and it's awesome. Hi, Nazreen. Great to see you. And it's awesome because it helps keep me on track. It's one of those healthy habits that I've developed. And Suzanne's here. Nice. And Lillian's here, too. Wow, we've got quite a crowd hanging out with us today. That's pretty cool. So, talking about healthy habits, and she was telling me that one of the challenges, and Heidi's here, that a lot of women are having is that they don't want to engage or deal with their the things that they're carrying around. A gunny sack. Ronnie's here too. Nice. Of all of this stuff that's happened, maybe grief or pain or heartbreak or divorce or whatever it is, because there's too much to do, and they don't even want to get any work done, get any healing work done, because the biggest fear is that it'll turn into some meltdown or some breakdown when you least want it, or you'll have to take a couple sick days off, or even precious vacation days, and we as women there's too much to do. There's too much going on. And it reminded me of my mom. And my mom's still alive, thank God. In fact, alive enough that we've been able to start a wonderful tradition of meeting for breakfast every Sunday morning, which was totally, not something I wanted to do, but I really wanted to strengthen my relationship with my family. So about a year or two ago, I said, you know what, let's do breakfast every Sunday morning and we'll bite the bullet and figure it out. And we did, and it's pretty amazing, the healing that's happened from that. So anyways, she always used to say, because she was a great stoic German Lutheran, that if she sat down, she might never get back up again. And that is so true of how a lot of us were taught. That just don't sit down. Just keep getting things done and go until you're at the end of your rope. Now that may be great when you're in your 20s or your 30s, but when you start to get into your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, your body can't keep up with you anymore. And in fact, things start to happen. And you've been powering through all of the issues, as I said, divorce and challenge and heartbreak and maybe miscarriage and all sorts of crazy things that have happened from your childhood and now into your adulthood, that you've just stuffed into this sack. And one of the main reasons that we don't go and get help or we don't work on things is because we know once we open that door, we're done. We're going to have a meltdown. Now, I have a confession to make. I'm not real crazy about a lot of people who are in my sort of healing profession, people who help women transform their lives. And the reason I'm not crazy about them is because for a lot of people in my position, I look around and I see that they've forgotten. Hi, Carolyn. Good to see you. I see that they've forgotten how hard it is to feel things and how scary and how big of an unknown it is. And so we get these great healers who walk in and they're looking for some sort of big emotional release. And then once the emotional release is done, they send people on their way and they say, glad you had a good time and you're healed. And now we go home and we're sick. We're having some sort of a healing crisis. We come down with the flu, or we're so distracted and in a brain fog we can't focus and something happens to us. Maybe we get in a car accident or we miss a step on the stairs and twist our ankle or break our ankle, or, all sorts of things happen, or we go home and we end up getting into a fight because we can't handle, everything that we're feeling. And the people around us are now freaked out because everybody depends upon you to handle it all and be the rock in the middle of it. And now you've completely, hit rock bottom. So a lot of women in my field, or a lot of people in my profession, it's kind of a feather in your cap if you can make somebody cry. If you can cause someone to have some sort of big emotional release. Now, that's kind of cool if you're into emotional releases. And for myself, I like them. I like emotional releases because they don't scare me anymore. Because I've had them, because of my past, I was pushed to the wall early on in my life, and I got comfortable with releasing my emotions on a regular basis, and finding ways to express them and move them, because otherwise they made me really, really sick. And so, I was able to learn, okay, how do you handle big emotions and emotional releases? But a lot of women didn't have those big breakdowns when they were younger, or they had one or two and it scared them like you would not believe, because no one was there to teach them how to handle this stuff. And so now, you're getting to the end of your rope. You've got the stuff you need to deal with, and you're not going to deal with it because you just don't want to go and have it all stirred up. You just don't want to go and have everything that you pushed aside and dealt with come back to the surface. You don't want to go through therapy again and have to rehash your story. You're sick of your story. You're sick of everybody's story. You just want to relax and enjoy yourself. Hi, Doug. Nice to see you. So this is actually what I do for a living, is because I was traumatized when I was a kid. And Chris is here too. How great. I was traumatized as a kid, and when I got older, the last thing I wanted to do was be re-traumatized again. And Brenda's here too, cool. I didn't want to walk into a situation and have somebody push those buttons that would make me have a breakdown and cry in front of everybody. Do you know how embarrassing that is? And lose control of yourself and, and puke and pee yourself and, ugh. Nobody wants that. It's embarrassing, and it's filled with shame and has all sorts of crazy stuff associated with it. And everybody will tell you, oh, it's okay, and you're like, no, I look like an idiot. I've totally lost control of myself. Hi, Janet. Nice to see you. And that's not what we want. We do not want to lose control of ourselves. I'm here to tell you, you do not have to push through or power through or have a mental breakdown or have an emotional breakdown in order to start cleaning these things up and unload this emotional baggage that you're carrying around. You do not have to have some great big blowout with somebody or storm away or get really sick. It doesn't have to happen that way. Actually, there's a lot of things. Hi, Gail. Good to see you. That you can do on a regular basis which keep this stuff in check. It's one of the reasons I love Asian medicine. Asian medicine talks about how by working on the physical, you can unload and deal with the emotional and the mental. So things as simple as drinking a glass of water when you start to feel tense will help you feel better and dial down the tension. Or things like taking a little bit of time every day to be like, hey, how am I feeling today? What's going on? And be present with it. Takes care of it. 10, 15 minutes takes care of a lot of problems, believe it or not. And it keeps something from turning into a divorce or turning into a crisis with your kids or having to lose your job and lose your income or stability or create chaos in your life. There's a lot of small, easy, healthy practices that you can put in day by day that keep you in a really good, balanced state. People think, I need to exercise, but they think about exercising as going in and doing great cardio and working hard, and it's painful and you hate it, but you feel better afterwards. I'm here to tell you, if you're working out for mental and emotional health, you do not have to be crazy. I go and people laugh at me, I know they do, and I stroll around the track and I listen to music and I enjoy myself. And that fills my well so that then I want to do something that's more challenging. And then I want to do something that's more challenging. It keeps building. The mistake that a lot of people have told you and a lot of healers have pushed upon you is that, like the game of Jenga, you have to find the one thing that will cause everything to explode and everything to break down. And they're going to search for that button that's going to make you cry or that's going to make you lose your mind, because that's good, that's healthy. It doesn't feel good when you're the one going through it. It doesn't feel good when you're the one who has to take a sick day off and stay in bed because you're so depressed or angry or crying, or who's, now as a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, would throw toilets through windows, or they'd get into fights, or they'd yell at their dog. We don't want to be doing these things. We, as fairly capable, successful, well-balanced people, do not want to embarrass ourselves by having some crazy meltdown, especially in public. So here's the deal. If you want to start unloading this baggage, first of all, you have to realize it doesn't have to be a scary process. It doesn't have to stir everything up and make you feel crazy. What it does do is it's about putting some very basic healthy habits in place that keep you fit physically, mentally, and emotionally. Now, some people have a practice like Buddhism. Some people have a practice like Tai Chi or yoga, things along those lines. And those can be really great when done right because they are very multidimensional, because they do work on all of those things. But I know I never wanted to get into Buddhism because I look at it and think, wow, that's quite a commitment I have to make with my life. And I've got enough commitments already. I don't want to deal with it. You don't actually have to follow a dogma or fall into some big guru or some mission in order to start feeling better and to make sure you don't spiral down and crash into a heap, a beautiful heap of flames. That doesn't have to happen. You can start by something simple. So here's the something simple to start with. You started Tai Chi last night, Evelyn. That's fabulous. Nice job. So you don't have to turn your life upside down in order to feel better. So I like to give homework assignments, just one thing you can do every day. So the one thing I would like you to do today with your niece and daughter, so that it's family too. That makes it even better. I used to do yoga because we'd go out to eat afterwards. That's the reason I would do yoga, is because not to do the yoga, but because I wanted to get together with my friends and I wanted to go out for a snack at a restaurant and, have dessert or something. It was hilarious. I didn't want to do anything that was intensive. I didn't want to do anything that was too hard or required a high level of commitment. No, but nobody does. We've got enough stuff going on already. We don't want to do all that other stuff. But okay, so here's your homework assignment, all right? What I want you to do is find one small, tiny thing that irritates you, not anything big. Not anything that's like, I'm going to deal with my daddy issues, or today's the day I'm going to confront my spouse about all the things they do wrong. No. Let's stop for a second. If you try to do the one big thing, yes, you are going to fail miserably. You're going to fall on your butt, and you're going to be embarrassed, and you're going to make things worse, and you're going to have to pay for a therapist and get your car fixed or fix the window. You're going to have to do something that's going to be, painful and expensive and uncomfortable. And although it's motivating, I'm tired of pain and uncomfort to motivate me anymore. I'm ready to do things in a more graceful way. So find something tiny, small, that irritates you, okay? Maybe a hole in your sock. Maybe, I don't know, the fact that the toilet paper is upside down. Something small. Because when you start cleaning up the small things, then there's less that's going to, there's less that's to trigger because it's cumulative. It's not just one thing. It's the 4 million things that you haven't taken care of. So start with the tiny things like the toilet paper roll or the holy sock or, whatever it is, something that irritates you that's tiny. And notice where you feel it in your body, and then go to that place in your body and just sit with it. Don't think about how mad you are. Don't think about whose fault it is. Don't think about how, thank you, Deb. Deb just said I'm one of the most graceful people she knows, and I'm filled with grace. Well, it's because of a lot of community theater with Deb. I learned how to be graceful under fire. And she's the queen at Grace Under Fire, let me tell you. She's been through the ringer. So, find one tiny, tiny thing that bugs you and sit with it. Don't judge the thoughts. Don't blame somebody else. Don't blame yourself. Don't distract yourself by, going into your head. Instead, just notice how it feels. Say, where do I feel this irritation in my body? Maybe I feel it on the bottom of my foot where the hole in my sock is because I haven't had time to buy new socks. Go to where that is and just be present with it. Just feel it. Because there's this magical, cool thing that happens when you're present with an emotion. If you're present with it, it goes away. Your body cleans it up. It's like it comes by and says, oh, you wanted me to sweep up the glass? All right, I'll sweep up the glass. That's fine. We'll take care of this. And it does. We're thinking we have to do these big, giant, monumental, life-changing things, and you don't. You start with the tiny things, the really small ones, and then by the time you have to deal with the big one, it's not that big of a deal because you don't have the holy sock you're dealing with and the toilet paper roll and the fact that, all your food in your fridge is, leftovers and not any good, or the milk's gone bad, or nobody took the garbage out. You're not dealing with all of that other stuff. It's cumulative. You forget that. So just for today, find something that irritates you. Don't worry. Don't think. Don't hide in your head. Instead, say, where do I feel it in my body? Do I feel it in my chest, my stomach, my throat, my head, my foot, wherever, my knee? And just go there and be present with it. And watch the miracle of how it will dissolve, how it will irritate you less, and how if it's tiny, it'll take care of itself in a few minutes. If it's actually something really big, it takes a lot longer. But if it's something small, then it'll deal with itself. And you will be amazed and floored by the fact that, oh, you mean by paying attention to my throat, my sinuses cleared? Good friend of mine, last night working with her. You're welcome, Janet. Working with her, she said, yeah, I did the throat thing. And every time I did the throat thing, my sinuses cleared. I said, yes, that's it. That's exactly how it worked. And it works even if you are somebody who's dealing with a lot, dealing with crazy stuff like pregnancy and bipolar and new relationships all at the same time. Hi, Mary Elizabeth. Good to see you. Even if you're in that, if you go to something, go to where you feel it in your body. Maybe it's touching your face. Maybe it's touching your heart. And just go there. It'll clean it up. It doesn't have to be this giant Reiki session. It doesn't have to be this hands-on healing. Yay, Evelyn. Evelyn said it worked again this morning. That's awesome. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to do Reiki and I need to be a hollow bone. And it doesn't have to be that. It can be something as simple as putting your hand on your heart and saying, hey, thanks for being here, and just being present with it. Hi, Ada Marie. Nice to see you. Have you ever been with a friend who's grieving? And when you're in a big grief, the last thing you want is anybody to give you advice, right? You just want somebody to sit with you so that you're not alone. This is the same thing. That part of your body you've been running away from because it's uncomfortable and seems like it's big and scary has been alone. And now that you're an adult, you have to take care of your own issues already, okay? Which means that you need to parent that part of you. So you have abandoned that little part of you you've abandoned your foot that has the hole in the sock, okay? You've abandoned that part of you. Go to it, say, hey, thanks for being here. I'm sorry I left you alone for so long. And you'll notice it'll clean itself up. It'll feel better, okay? And the more things you take off of the scale, the more things that you deal with teeny bit by teeny bit, then as I said, the big things are so much easier to handle. And suddenly now, when you think of saying something to your spouse or saying something to your kid, it just comes out. You're just having a conversation. You know, it's this and I hate just. Just is a word that makes me crazy. But I'm going to use it right now because it's fun to, say it. It's just as easy as going to breakfast every Sunday with my parents and watching that relationship change and evolve and grow and shift and them become comfortable with me and me become comfortable with them and my sister showing up and my husband showing up and random people showing up and watching that whole relationship evolve. It's as simple as that. Doesn't mean it's easy for me to get up at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning and drive an hour and go have breakfast with them. And a lot of mornings, I'm cranky on the drive. I do not want to be going because I'm tired and this is, my day off or whatever. But if you get up and you do it, that's when the miracles happen, okay? So start with something tiny. Could be, whatever you want. The fact that, the dog's been scooting its butt across the carpet again and now you've got a stain on your carpet. Could be as simple as that. But stop, be present with it. Don't think about what it means or the implication on the world, and how everything's going to come to an end. Just be present with it and watch it disappear. And you will be amazed, surprised, shocked that it's that easy to unload your emotional baggage without having a breakdown. Okay? So have a great day. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And yeah, bye.